Jesse Vargas, what's going on, man?
What's up, y'all? It's always a pleasure being on DONTAE'S Boxing Nation. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Jesse, you are one of the rare fighters out there that has proven that you're willing to fight anybody. DONTAE'S Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, ever since Manny Pacquiao announced that he would be facing Jessie Vargas next, there's been a lot of criticism. You've heard Bob Arum say before this fight was signed that he wanted to make Pacquiao versus Crawford. The fact that HBO, they decided to pass on this fight because they're covering what they believe is a bigger fight, Kovalev versus Andre Ward, in the month of November. The fact that Bob Arum himself, he was bothered and offended that HBO would decide to pass on a Manny Pacquiao fight when you consider how loyal Manny Pacquiao has been to HBO. This is pretty much what Bob Arum was saying. Now, with all of that being said, of course, Jessie Vargas, he's not happy with the criticism of the fight as well. Matter of fact, Jessie Vargas, he did an interview with the Boxing Voice, and I'll go ahead and play a little clip of what he said, but if you guys want to watch that full interview, I'll put the link in the description box. But basically, Jessie Vargas, he said, I understand fans, having me as the underdog. He said that's understandable because Manny Pacquiao, he's, a legend in the game, etc., etc. But he said, but to say the fight is a bad fight, to say this is going to be a bad fight, that's doing too much. Because basically, I throw a lot of punches, Manny Pacquiao throws a lot of punches, it's going to be a good fight. This is pretty much what he said. And then he has something else to say, which I want to play the clip. Let me go ahead and play this clip, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this whole situation when I come back.
So it just doesn't make sense that he already wants to take credit away from me as I'm coming into a fight, and yeah, I'm going to beat him. And you're saying, oh, well, Jessie Vargas beats him, he's washed up. But if it was some other guy, oh, he's the next superstar. I'm sorry I'm white. I'm sorry I'm not light-skinned. I'm sorry I'm not black. You know what I mean? I'm Mexican.
But you're marketable.
I don't know if I'm marketable or not. Yeah. All I know is that I can fight. You know what I mean? And any fighter that can fight and that has the guts to face anyone should have the proper respect in this boxing game. I'm sorry I'm not Russian. I'm sorry I'm not, from Ukraine. I'm sorry I don't look like you. You know what I mean? This is who I am, and I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. And I will win November 5th, and I will give you an action-packed fight.
Listen, this is the first thing I want to say. There is no doubt about it. This will be an entertaining fight. There is no doubt about that. I mean, almost every Pacquiao fight we see is an entertaining fight. Jessie Vargas, he comes to fight. So I truly believe this will be an entertaining fight. Not only do I believe it'll be an entertaining fight, but I believe that Jessie Vargas, he has a chance of pulling off the upset. Now, you just heard Jessie Vargas say in that clip, I'm sorry I'm not white, I'm sorry I'm not black, I'm sorry I'm not a Russian fighter, etc., etc., etc. I don't think this backlash that this fight has received has anything to do with Jessie Vargas. It's not Jessie Vargas's fault. It's the fact that Top Rank, they've been building Terrence Crawford as the next fighter to carry the torch from a Manny Pacquiao or a Floyd Mayweather. We just seen Terrence Crawford receive his second Ring Magazine belt in 2 different weight classes. He took on the very tough Victor Postal and dominated him, and he's been getting a lot of buzz right now. So the fact that Bob Arum has been telling the public that Pacquiao's next opponent will most likely be either Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, or Terrence Crawford, and then Manny Pacquiao ends up choosing Jessie Vargas, the perception to many is Manny Pacquiao himself, he believes that Jessie Vargas is the easiest opponent out of all of the other options. We've already heard Freddie Roach say after his last fighter just got dominated by Victor Postal that he was going to tell his fighter Manny Pacquiao to avoid a Terrence Crawford fight. Why? Because Terrence Crawford reminds him of Floyd Mayweather and he has really good power. This is what Manny Pacquiao's trainer said about Terrence Crawford. So the inclination is, this guy is too tough. Let's go with someone we have a better chance of beating, and that is Jessie Vargas. So my whole thing is, Jessie Vargas, hearing all of these things, receiving all of this criticism, I hope this motivates Jessie Vargas to come out and give Manny Pacquiao one of the toughest fights he's ever been in. Okay? The only way this will be a bad fight, as far as I'm concerned, is if this fight plays out the way many fans think it will. That Manny Pacquiao will just dominate Jessie Vargas. But you guys do have to realize, Jessie Vargas, he just came off of a huge win. He knocked out the previously undefeated Saddam Ali. And, he has momentum going into this fight. Now, of course, the way fans would counter what I just said is they would say, but Dante, Jessie Vargas, he was completely outboxed by Tim Bradley. If he can't outbox Tim Bradley, how can he outbox or outwit Manny Pacquiao, who many people believe beat Tim Bradley 2 or 3 times? That's the question that a lot of fans are going to ask, and I'll say styles definitely make fights. The only difference from the Bradley situation is Manny Pacquiao is a southpaw. Jessie Vargas, he's faced a lot of southpaws and he's done really good against southpaws. So this will be really interesting. Now, going back to Jessie Vargas, because he criticized Max Kellerman, for criticizing this fight. And I want to say this. If Jessie Vargas, if he wins this fight, he pulls off this upset and beats Manny Pacquiao, I can guarantee you no one will ever criticize a fighter for getting in the ring with Jessie Vargas again. If Jessie Vargas wins this fight and pulls off the upset against Manny Pacquiao, his career will be catapulted into star status. And I would put him in the Fantastic 3 category when it comes to the most significant welterweights in the division. So I understand Jessie Vargas' frustration, but this criticism is not directed towards Jessie Vargas. It's directed towards Manny Pacquiao. This criticism is not even directed towards Bob Arum or even HBO. The criticism is solely directed towards Manny Pacquiao because he purposely picked an opponent that he believed to be the easiest to beat out of all of the many options that were on the table. So once again, man, I believe this year in 2016, with the Canelo versus Liam Smith fight, Pacquiao versus Jessie Vargas, Gennady Golovkin versus Kell Brook, Roman Gonzalez versus Carlos Cudras, which is a really good fight, and I'm about to make a video about that fight as well. I just needed to watch some footage on the WBC champion Carlos, and I've watched about 3 or 4 fights of his, so I'm gonna make a video about that fight as well. But with that all being said, with all of those fights, there has to be one upset. I'm telling you, I would really be surprised if all 4 of the favorites win in those fights. And if they all win, someone is going to get badly exposed, is what I'm predicting. Okay? So this Jessie Vargas fight, because of Manny Pacquiao's flaws, Jessie Vargas definitely has a chance in this fight. Now, the one thing Jessie Vargas cannot afford to do, and I've seen him do this in a couple of his fights, he cannot afford to take off rounds. I've seen Jessie Vargas look very good in fights, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it seems like Jessie, he'll take his foot off of the gas for a couple minutes in a round, or maybe even a couple of rounds. He did this in the Saddam Ali fight. He did this in other fights as well. So if Jessie Vargas can avoid doing that in this fight, if Jessie Vargas, he can fight for the whole 3 minutes of each round, he'll have a very good chance of pulling off this upset, or at least giving Manny Pacquiao one of his toughest fights. So we'll see what happens in November. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.